What's the biggest red flag during an employment interview? Really? This occurred to me. Interviewer: have you got any inquiries for us? Me: what current problem has this department faced? Asker: job security. An employee offered to walk me out of the building after my interview and took the opportunity to basically warn me, in not so many words, about what the job really entailed. He was super friendly and diplomatic, just like he was making small talk, shooting the shit with me. Then, did they mention you'd get to do X? Because if you've got your heart set on that, you might be disappointed with the reality of the role. That kinda thing. Especially when he heard I was fresh out of college and would have had to move country for the job. Basically the job ad was complete BS. And he was making sure I knew. I will be forever grateful to people like him. Removed. 30 people in the lobby. Some of you will be lucky enough to be chosen. Being a nanny, you get some bizarre ones. It's not HR or a business owner. It's Lisa, the 27-year-old first-time mother, who hasn't done anything in her life. Probably the biggest red flag was when she asked if I'd be interested in inducing lactation to nurse her baby. It is against our rules for employees to discuss their salaries with each other. When I mentioned a company's dismal Glassdoor evaluations, they became so enraged that they ended the interview. Well, I suppose I escaped that danger. My recent interview with what I thought would be a dream job went like this. You know, you're the 6th person we've tried to make this position work for and we're starting to think it's us. Interviewer gives a non-answer when you ask about salary. Are you entrepreneurial? Usually means that the job is solely commission-based. They explain that you will for some reason not be an employee of the company but an independent contractor that uses their facilities and is paid by them. Removed. You'd be replacing the guy who was killed in the explosion. True story. Not being clear about why the position opened. When the entire Glassdoor page is all glowing reviews. And when the same positions get periodically reposted. Dynamic, fast-paced environment. It's a mess. Management is top-heavy and supervisors are spread thin. You're on your own, learn fast. The office has a break room with games, pool table, etc. That looks like no one has touched it in months. Here's a few from my most recent interview. Badmouthed a current employee. Said I might be asked to work overtime. When I asked how often that might happen, she did not give me a clear answer. Emphasized being a team player. And mentioned that some of their more dedicated employees have even come into work sick. Was not clear on where I'd be working or what the job site was like. Emphasized needing employees who put the job first and not those who do their 40 hours and go home. Mentioned the current supervisor was on leave, but did not know why. Couldn't answer how many other employees were working at the site. Asked me if I could start the very next day. Mentioned that they just had someone quit due to being unable to handle working approximately 60-hour weeks. Unfortunately, I was so desperate, so I took this job. And I currently work here. So far there has been a ton of drama. But I've been able to fly under the radar for the time being. Since I was hired, 2 people have walked out. I needed my work uniform hemmed. And I was told during the interview that this would be reimbursed. That was a lie. Someone I trained with scraped a pole with a work vehicle while parking. It was honestly an honest mistake and not any kind of stupidity. She was suspended for a week and threatened with termination. I was written up for simply being in the car when it happened. My supervisor has had multiple fights with my manager. The person I interviewed with. And it got so bad my supervisor resigned. Today is her last day. One of my reliefs was over an hour late and showed up smelling strongly of weed. One of my co-workers disappeared while on the clock, and drove 45 minutes away to buy weed. Found out that all of us, sans my supervisor, despite having the same title, are all being paid different wages. We work hard and play harder. We're a family here. It's a salaried position with flex time. Basically, you will be working 50+ hours a week and only be paid for 40. Don't you dare flex any time though. No set salary. You could make up to. Avoid commission-based gigs. I've posted on this before. But one I don't see mentioned a lot is the eyes of the interviewers. I'm not talking about do they seem shifty or whatever. I mean, do the people you're talking to seem chill and well rested? Or are their eyes bloodshot? Dark circles under them. They seem exhausted? It's harder to tell on a Zoom interview. But you can look for it once you start to notice it. I've said no to companies based on this alone. If everyone in a company looks tired, it's because they are stressed out and/or working extra hours all the time. Big red flag. Not having a solid job description. This is the biggest one. We are just creating the position.